Hello everyone, welcome back to the Girl Math Podcast. I'm your host Kori Blonde, and today we're going to be talking about dog walking guy and all things shenanigans dating. So I got back from dog walking date last night, date number 10. It's safe to say it's going really well. But he actually met all my friends last night. He was invited by the friend that was hosting it because she basically hired out a whole bar because she's basically leaving the country with her boyfriend for about a year. I almost got exposed for my TikToks in front of dog walking guy at this event because one of you recognized me, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, that's not a bad thing, but if he finds out, it could be, but we don't know. I think by now he probably would be okay with it, but it's just like I'm not ready to tell him about all of this. So here we are. Men are weird for the most part, okay? And if any of you actually know me, you would know that I have a really poor history of men, and this dog walking guy has come along and completely flipped it around for me, and I'm glad, to be honest with you. I'm relieved because it was at a point especially with my content where it was becoming a bit I hate all men, all this stuff, right? Because I just had been treated poorly again and again and again and again by men all the time. And I'd actually come out of a very long-term relationship about a year ago where we had 2 dogs together, a cat, and we were about to move out to a house into the rural suburbs. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, after this house viewing and filming this house and putting it on my story and basically telling the whole world, he decided to move across the whole other side of the world and get a new girlfriend 2 weeks later. So that is a crazy story time that I could get into. But for the most part, I have been very terrified of men. Very, very terrified of men, to say the least. I thought I had it all. I thought this man was going to be the one. I even have him tattooed. I know, crazy. I don't know if I'm going to make myself up by saying that, but I actually have him tattooed on me, and his full-blown name tattooed. And I need to get that removed at some point because that is crazy for me. But I was down bad. And I thought, you know what? I finally found the man of my dreams, which clearly didn't. You think you know someone until you don't. And it's scary. It's scary to get back into dating again. It's scary to get into a relationship again. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't terrified. And a lot of you on TikTok, or a lot of the TikTok comments do say, well, why aren't you with him yet? Why aren't you together? Like, it's been a month. You've been on 10 dates. Essentially, a month and 10 dates is nothing, okay? I was only just getting to know my ex-boyfriend after 3 years, and I lived with him. Like, we did everything together, and you don't know that person. You will never know that person, and you just have to bank on the fact that you have to trust yourself that you can cope with the fact that if they leave, if they cheat, if they do whatever, you've got your own back, because you think you know someone until you don't, okay? I wasn't listening to myself. I ignored all the red flags and thought, this is a man of my dreams. I actually became a housewife essentially for the last year of our relationship, and he let me quit my job and look after the dogs, sort out all the housework, and do his MOTs. Whoa, oh my god. Yeah, so this is the thing. My ex-boyfriend actually made me do his MOTs for him, which is crazy. I now know how to do that, so I'm a big girl. And I'd also do all his washing and his cleaning and his cooking, and basically felt very underappreciated, which I was. And now this man has come into my life and showing me how I should be treated is very scary, because I was settling in my previous relationship, but I was also deeply in love with this guy, and he let me down. And it really changed my perspective when he let me down, because I had in my head the way I viewed this man was just my own perception. It wasn't actually him. It was how deeply I loved him. And I always believe that you are your own reflection of you. So if you're in a relationship and you think this man loves you deeply, which I mean, he will probably, I don't think anyone can love you as much as you can love yourself, and you can only meet someone as far as you've met yourself, and the perception of other people is deep down the perception of you, and it all comes back down to you at the end of the day without getting too deep. But I basically stayed with this man through everything, and it wasn't the best at times. It was also the best thing I'd ever had at the time. And going back to my other previous relationships before my ex, they were awful as well. Like, they weren't good either. And I think that all comes down to the way I have been raised and my perception of men, which is a bit skewed. So, you know, it also comes down to self-worth as well, because I will now self-sabotage, which I'm trying my best not to, and I've got everyone else's support and backing on my TikTok and stuff, but it's like I am terrified that I'm going to self-sabotage this dog walking guy thing, because I only know how to self-sabotage. I don't know any better, and it's all because of my self-worth and self-esteem, which has always been very low. And that's why I've attracted narcissistic men. That's why I've attracted not very nice people, or toxic or jealous or whatever it is people. I have started healing this whole year, to be honest with you, like physically and mentally, which is why I've attracted dog walking guy, and I'll get into this. I truly believe you attract who you are. And it's not like, I'm not talking about narcissistic men, I'm not talking about like abuse or anything like that. I'm simply saying the frequency that you have as a person, if you are on a very high level of frequency, you are going to attract similar things, okay? So, for instance, I have been really focusing on myself this last year. I've been focusing on my career and my content, and essentially going to the gym and healing and reading self-help books and things like that. In turn, I've raised my frequency. And I feel like this man has come along, dog walking guy, and it's because I can now meet him at the level that he is, which is very healthy, very good. He has a very good way of looking at things. I'll give you an example. He's not given me one red flag where I think, damn, this guy's jealous, this guy's manipulative, this guy is bad. Like, I know it's only been a month, but so far, so good. If I can make this process slow and at my own pace, and try and see him for who he is and not for who I believe he could be, or be in love with potential, which is another thing that I have fallen in love with, which is why I've screwed myself, it will have probably a lot better outcome and hopefully a lot healthier. And I won't sit here and say that I've not been toxic before, because best believe I've been toxic before. That's just the way it has been, because I've been with toxic people and I've been in a toxic household. But it's up to you to basically heal yourself and recognize that that's not healthy or normal. You should never judge someone if they're in a toxic relationship. This is coming from someone that has been in a toxic relationship and has lost friends because of it. Now, I am no longer friends with these people, but when I was with my first ever boyfriend, which was tragic, a tragic story time based on my end, but I lost a lot of friends during it, because it was one of those relationships where you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and no one really understands what it's like to be in a toxic relationship until you're in it. And I can only empathize with those ex-friends, because I wouldn't want them to feel that way. I wouldn't want them to be in the position I was in. I wouldn't want them to understand what I was going through. So, you know, I can only kind of empathize with that and see that, damn, they were just sick and tired of hearing my bullshit, where it wasn't really bullshit, it was real shit that one day you will go through. Hopefully not, but you know, you might. And I feel like a lot of people say I'm wise for my age, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but obviously I have a podcast, I can think to a deep level, obviously, because I can talk to a camera for hours. But I base this all down to the fact that I've probably lived through what people won't live through ever, or when they're about 60. Like, I feel like I've done it all, and I'm honestly drained by men. And this dog walking guy came in, and I'm like, am I even ready for this? Am I even like, do I deserve this? Do you know what I'm saying? Which is obviously probably not the case, but I can't help it. And now obviously everyone on TikTok's like, get with him, when like reveal, like show him, or, you know, I feel like that's rushing it. I feel rushed and pressured, and I'm not letting outside noise get to me that much, but it does get to you. I'd be lying if I said, oh guys, like, it does not get to me at all, but it does. And it's because I've never had a great relationship with my dad or with men in general. So I think everyone should take it at their own pace and not judge anyone. So dating advice. One thing you have to ask yourself when you're dating is, do you like this person, or do you like the idea of this person? This is something that I've made the mistake of before. So take my advice, obviously with a pinch of salt, but also take it with a boulder, okay? I've had situationships where it's kind of like, I like the idea of this person, so I'm going to pursue them because I'm in love with the potential and what they could offer me. It's not really who they are as a person. If you can sit back and look at this person that you're dating and think, I know they have this wrong with them, but at the end of the day, I love them for them and we can work through it together. As long as that's reciprocated, you're fine, you're good, you're Gucci. However, if you're dating someone and you're like, I'm not too sure about this guy, you know, he's really, really nice and he takes me to these restaurants and we have similar goals and we align and he can take me here and these opportunities, or, you know, I like the way that he does this for me. Do you like him, or do you just like what he does for you? Like, that's something you need to ask yourself, because I've been in situations that I've been there, and like I feel awful for that. Like, I feel so guilty, the fact that I've been with someone because I like the potential of them or the idea of them. Some people just can't meet your needs. Some people just can't meet you where you're at, and that's okay. I think it's good to recognize when people can't meet your needs. I've had to stop talking to people before because I'm like, listen, you can't meet me where I'm at. Like, I like who you are. It's nothing to do with you. It's just I'm at a certain level now that you can get to too if you wanted, but I don't think you can meet me where I'm at, and it would be selfish of me to continue this and see that you're not who I want. I just want a man that can, I don't know, do 70-20 with me. 80-90. Damn it. I always get percentages. Maths. Girl math. 30-70. Whatever it is. I don't believe in 50-50, but that's another story. So yeah, if a man can't meet you where you're at or what you want out of life, what is the point? Especially if you're at my age. I'm in my mid-20s now, and I just think a lot of my friends are settling down. I actually spoke about this with Dog Walking Guy, funnily enough, which I will get into. I had this deep chat with him under the umbrella outside in the rain, which was really romantic and really cute. And basically, he was like, so what do you want to do, Kori? Like, what do you want out of life? And obviously, that's a big question. That's a big question for someone that has big goals and dreams all her life. Like, we could talk about this for hours, okay? But essentially what I said is, I don't want to settle for like an office job. I think I'm a type of person that loves to create and go out and do things and be active and build something for herself. I don't want to work for someone else and build someone else's dreams. And that works for some people because it gives them structure. It's like just a quicker way into the working ladder and things like that. But for what I want to do, I've never been fully supported in what I want to do with my family or some of my friends, my relationships, especially my relationships. I have never felt supported in what I wanted to do. Hell, I was a flipping housewife for most of my relationship, or my last relationship. He didn't see once what I wanted to do and didn't believe in me, actually belittled me a lot of the time in what I wanted to do, and it genuinely made me a shell of myself. So I've spent this whole year trying to build it up again, and it's been really hard because my trauma response and my thought pattern has always been, oh, you're not good enough, or, you know, why should I do this because there are better people than me, or the comparison. Anyway, so me and Dog Walking Guy got into the conversation of comparison, and I can't help but compare to a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends are on the corporate ladder and have their boyfriends, and moving in with their boyfriends, or moved in with their boyfriends. And obviously I felt like I had it all when I was living in London with my ex, and I felt like I had the whole life and everything like that, until I didn't, and I lost everything, and then I had to start again. And because I relied on a man for 4 years just for him to prove that he wasn't who I thought he was, and a complete opposite actually, was really traumatizing. And that's why stepping into this new thing is so scary. So I basically was talking to him and saying how I've been comparing myself recently to a lot of my friends. Like, I'm unemployed. I took the risk to do content, and I took the risk to basically build my own empire and help women through things that I'd been through. And obviously I've been doing this podcast for about 2 years now. I've been podcasting for 5. I've been making content since I was 8 years old. It's something I've always done and always wanted to do. I've been in the music video industry. I've been a female director for a lot of like rappers, Afrobeats artists, because that's my other side hustle and passion, I guess you could say. So like, I've always been very hardworking in my own vision, and I've never settled for less. And I think this is a scary point for me because I see all my friends in stable relationships, stable income, stable careers, mentally stable. Like, they've not gone through what I've gone through. And I'm just sat here like, why me? Like, not to be woe is me, but it's just like, sometimes you do just go, fuck, like, why me? Like, but also, I believe because I have such a high vision for myself, and because I have such a higher purpose in a sense to help people, and it's more than myself, I want to do something bigger than myself, I have to go through trials and tribulations, because who am I to say Kori down the road is just a normal girl that's had a normal life and like just wants to help people? Like, how's that gonna work? You know what I mean? I've not been through it, so I'm grateful for everything I've been through so I can help you guys. But obviously that's what I'll get into. But yeah, so I've struggled with comparing myself, and Dog Walking Guy said, look, I will help you and support you with everything that you want to do. And I think that it's amazing that you have this outlook. And I think if anything, you're at the age where you should be taking risks, and you should be doing all of this stuff to better your future. If you settle, you can get a 9 to 5, you can work in an office whenever you want. If you're someone that wants to do something with your life bigger than that, take the jump now, because you're going to be 30, 40, 50 with kids, and you're going to struggle and find it harder to achieve that goal. I had a meeting the other day with someone regarding a podcast space, and he basically said to me, Kori, you have 5 years to get your shit together. 5 years, maybe 6, but 5 years until I'm basically 30. I'm not 25 just yet, but 30, I'm going to be thinking about marriage, I'm going to be thinking about kids, I'm going to be thinking about, well, hopefully if I'm not single by then. But it really opened my eyes, because I was like, damn, this shit is real now. And I've been thinking about my dreams for the longest time. I have been putting action towards it, but only recently have I really taken the deep dive to do it. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm also very focused on myself, which is why I worry about getting into a relationship. It's why I worry about dating guys, and like, I don't want them to get emotionally invested if I'm not, or I'm emotionally invested and they are, and then it's like I get off track, or you know what I mean, whatever the outcome might be. I'm an over warrior, I'm an overthinker, and I think worst case scenario all the time, because of the worst case scenario has happened to me when I wasn't prepared for it. And that is the worst feeling ever, because the one person I was banking on for the rest of my life, who I truly trusted and truly thought, damn, this is it, wasn't. And that is terrifying, and also very, very upsetting. And don't get me wrong, I'm now in a place where it's like, I'm happy for my ex, and I want him to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. I believe in him solely. Like, he can just do what he wants. I can love him from afar. Like, it's not anything, like, I'm not emotionally invested in that anymore. But it's just one of those cases where I'm kind of annoyed at myself, because I knew better. I knew better because of my previous relationships letting me down and being absolutely horrible. That why did I think that this guy would be any different when he showed signs that he wasn't? And I still fed into the delusion that he was going to be the one, and I even got him tattooed on me. So, you know, I'm a very intentional person, and I date with the intent of marrying and having kids. I don't see the point in dating to date. I don't get it. Unless you're dating to like understand what you like and don't like, and you don't have much experience with relationships and things like that. It is a form of self-development and self-growth, as long as there's no feelings involved with the other person and that you hurt the other person. But yeah, I've just been trying to figure myself out this year. And I feel like relationships always come, and the best people always come when you're not looking. And yeah, I'm not looking. So, you know, I've got to basically take this one slow at my own pace, because at the end of the day, like, only you know you. And if there's external pressure, or if you feel pressured to be dating a guy or take things quickly with a guy, like, it's not up to them. It's up to you. It's up to you at the end of the day. So that's something important to note, because I've had a lot of girls come to me and say, I've been speaking to this guy for 2 weeks, he doesn't want to meet up with me, or he hasn't shown any indication. He's wasting your time. Like, your time is so valuable. Your time is more important than money. And you're going to look back at these younger years and be like, damn, I was hooked up on this one guy that didn't even give me a grain of sand for my birthday. Crazy. So yeah, I don't know if I've spat any facts on this podcast episode, but obviously there's so much I can get into, and Dog Walking Guy is going amazingly, and I'm basically just absorbing it. I'm absorbing it. I'm letting someone treat me nice. I think that's something I've not done before. I've kind of self-sabotaged and not let that happen and shut it down before it could even begin. So, you know, like, there's something beautiful about this, and I like that I'm bringing you guys along on the journey. And it's always nice to have really supportive girls, and I can't thank you enough, genuinely, because, like, I can get emotional. Not that I'm not going to, but, like, I've had one hell of a few years, and it's just, like, through all of that, I've still continued to upload weekly on the podcast, pretty much. Obviously not recently, but I've still continued to post. I've still continued to follow my dreams, even through everything. And if you go to, like, my old podcast episodes, you'll obviously see when I was living in London and I was going through a lot mentally, and, like, I wanted to help women, which essentially I hope I did, and I still continue to do. And I've met some amazing girls along the way, and I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful for where I'm at, and I just want it to continue, basically. So yeah, I'm grateful for Dog Walking Guy. I'm grateful for you girls, and I'm just grateful to just still have the ability to post, like, still be breathing. Basically, I actually had a really bad dream last night, and I couldn't breathe when I woke up. I don't know why. I have a breathing problem when I sleep. But last night I woke up at like 1:30 a.m. and I just couldn't breathe. And I don't know if it was anxiety, probably. But I just couldn't sleep. And you know when you wake up and you're so tired, but you're also so anxious, it was horrible. So I have a breathing problem when I sleep. But anyway, that's off track. But yeah, I need to go to the gym in a minute. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to be uploading the dog walking date 10 story time on TikTok basically now. So yeah, that's some context to me, and I hope you girls have enjoyed this episode. I will get more into story times and things like that, obviously, as the podcast progresses even more, but I'm excited to see where this goes. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to all you girls. Make sure you're following my Instagram at Kori Blonde or the Girl Math Podcast on Instagram. DM me if you want. I have a girls group chat Instagram on my Kori Blonde account if you want to join it, in the bio. It's called The Girls Room. And keep an eye out for soft launch, potentially, maybe, who knows. But yeah, anyway, much love. Pickle says bye. I think she's sleeping, but I will speak to you guys very soon. Goodbye.